Okay, so sit yourselves cross-legged on some blanket or a block. And if your knees are going up high, then you need to sit up higher, yeah, so that you can sit upright. So that you are not rounding your back, you're not leaning back. Bringing the shins forward, the heels away from each other. And then move the flesh of the buttocks using your own hand. Moving the flesh of the buttocks from the center of each buttock out and back. So that you are sitting more on the bones rather than the flesh. And then just see that you're upright, lift the navel, lift the chest up, open and spread the collarbones from center to sides. Rolling the outer shoulders back and down, and the shoulder blades deepen against the back ribs. And then with the breath out, just allow yourself to settle yourself into your body. With each next breath out, letting go of any unnecessary tension. Soften the groins, feel the contact between the base of the body and the floor. Just allow yourself to be present. So only using enough power to keep yourself upright, but trying to let go of any muscles that you don't need to use right now, any unnecessary tension. Just let it go. And then as you slowly begin to press the tips of the fingers down, and also begin to feel the upward force from the ground up, the kind of sucking up action in the palms of the hands reflected in the armpits and the ribs, so that the downwards and the upward forces balance each other. And you come to a position of ease. And then from the openness of the chest, slowly bring your hands together in front, roots of your thumbs against the chest, fingers slightly away from the chest wall, relax the upper arms, relax the elbows. And as you breathe out, close the eyes from top to bottom, as if you are looking from the brain, from your thinking brain down towards the heart. Taking a few breaths, breathing through the chest, through the heart center, and just feeling how that changes the perception of yourself, of your surroundings. As the driving seat is changing from the brain, from the thinking, towards the feeling, towards the heart. Relax the face and all the facial muscles. Widen the space between the eyebrows. Soften the eyelids. Let the eyes move back away from the eyelids, as if you had eyes at the back of the head, looking out through the darkness of the skull. Relax the jaws, the tongue, the throat. And then after your next breath in, we'll do 3 ohms together in your own time. As you exhale, pull the head down, surrender the brain to the heart. Release the hands to your thighs and listen to the resonance of silence. And as you breathe in, then lift the head up and open the eyes. And so I said we'll be focusing on the hamstrings today and forward bends. And we will be combining that so that we don't just move in one plane with some hip work as well. So first, to stretch the legs forward. And cross the legs the other way. And stretching the legs, the arms forward, interlocking the fingers. Take your palms away and spreading the skin of the palms from the center out to the sides. And then from there, stretch the arms up towards the ceiling. And bend the elbows out to the sides, first bringing your hands close to the head. As you do, roll the shoulders back, bring the shoulder blades deep in against the back ribs, and then slowly, keeping the hands slightly back as you begin to extend through the mounts of the index fingers, so it's the inner hands, inner arms that are extending. Yeah. Go slow, so feeling the inner arms going up and the little finger sides moving down. Grip the outer upper arms in towards one another and lengthen, lifting the side body, breathing. And as you breathe out, then you can release, just feeling how you are. And then the other way, so stretch the arms forward into the other way. Take your palms away, spreading the skin of the palms again from the center out. And then from there, as you inhale, stretch the arms up. Then again, squeezing your outer upper arms in towards one another and lengthening. And first, again, bend the elbows out, bring your hands close to the head, because it's easier now to be able to bring the shoulder blades in against the back ribs, to take the hands back more. And then with that, slowly, begin to straighten the arms once more. Yeah, until the arms are straight, squeezing your outer upper arms in towards one another and breathing. And as you exhale, you can release. Then we're going to come forward. So if you can sit down lower on the floor, you can do that. But see that your back is straight. Have something for the head. And stretching the arms up towards the ceiling first. Palms are facing each other. And then lengthening, extending, going halfway. Reaching forward through the tips of the fingers. And then take your hands down, lengthen through the front body, and slowly let yourself come down. When the forehead gets on the support, then allow the front brain, your thinking brain, recede back, relax towards the back brain, and the eyes receding deep into the eye sockets. Allowing your mind to get prepared for the class also by quieting the thinking brain and bringing the awareness towards the back body. Relaxing around the hips, the buttocks. And then as you inhale, come back to center. And we can uncross the legs and then bend your knees, cross the other way. And once more, so lengthen, lift the navel, lift the chest up. As you inhale, stretch the arms forward, palms face down this time. Extending up through the arms, lengthen, feel the difference now with the palms forward. Where do you feel the stretch more? And then from there, extend forward, lengthen, go halfway first. Keep the buttocks heavy. And then from there, bring your hands down, lengthen through the front body, and then come forward and down more. So with the breath out again, softening around the hips, the buttocks, allowing the thinking brain to relax back towards the back brain, and the eyes deeper and deeper into the eye sockets. All right, and then as you inhale, quietly coming back to sitting. Stretch the legs forward. And we are going to come into Ardha Mukha Virasana. We'll do it a couple of times. First, just the classical with the big toes together. Knees are hip width apart. And first, just sit yourselves down between the heels. And if there is gap, then use some blanket. Yeah? So you want the buttocks to touch the heels, and if not, then you have some support there. Okay. And just when you look in front, see that both knees are moving the same distance out from the midline. And don't have your knees too wide apart. When you go forward, you want the knees to support the rib cage. Yeah? But as you breathe out first, just allow yourself to be heavy, to the buttocks to descend down heavily on the heels. And then from there, begin to walk the tips of the fingers forward, but keeping the buttocks down as you go. Fingers down, lengthening through the front body. So big space in the front. And then taking the hands down flat and the head down. If the head doesn't touch the floor, then it should be supported. But see that the buttocks stay down. And if they don't, then with the breath out, allow the buttocks to come down like slinkies. Those spiral things that just like flop down. Yeah. Use the breath out to do that. So as you breathe out, how much can you soften any tension in the buttocks? So you can actually bring the buttocks down. It's very good for your lower back if you can get that. It's not as simple as it sounds. It's kind of, we hold so much tension there in around the hips. And again, allowing the brain to keep quieting down. The more you can quieten the thinking brain, the more you get out of the practice each time, the more you become present. All right, and from there you can press the hands down and you can come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Yeah, so just take your toes under into dog pose. Yeah, so toes under, buttocks can come up and then slowly coming up into the dog pose. First lifting the heels to get the height up through the sitting bone. And just feel your way into it, feel how you are to start with as the body is warming up slowly. Breathing, pulling up the knees. Slowly bringing more energy to your legs. Thighs moving back to the thigh bones back to your hamstrings. All right, and then as you exhale, you can bend your knees, come down. And this time you put your block and between the feet. So it's a bit more challenging on the rotation of the hips. So the block is with weights like that, yeah, between the feet. And yeah, so I'm first sitting down in Virasana. Knees are just slightly apart, so your thighs are parallel. And I'm going to use a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you could use something else. Maybe some blocks in front. And I'm going to come forward in such a way that my forearms are on the bolster. I'm pulling from the fingers forward to the elbows. Yeah, from the fingers back towards the elbows, this way. And as I do that, I get a lift from the lower abdomen. Yeah, so instead of around in the back like this, going forward, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to pull back and get a lift first. Yeah, and then if you can get that lift, yeah, so then you can come forward bit by bit, keeping the buttocks down. Okay, go for it. And if you can't, so if that's challenging, then it's just staying here. Yeah, we're getting a lift from the lower belly. Pulling from the fingers back to your elbows. Yeah, so noticing how when I do that pulling action, how the lift happens in the abdomen, how that's connected. Don't have the bolster too far forward, Carmel. Take it back towards you a bit more. First, take your buttocks down, and then pulling backwards first until you feel that space in the abdomen. Might take a while. And and you might not want to go any further forward, so just work with what's there. And if you want to go further, then go. See how that. So you can maintain the lift. And just look at this as an experiment. So how far can I go without losing that extension, that lift in the abdomen? All right, and then from there you can come back into our Mukha Svanasana. Take those under, lift the buttocks up and back, and if the head comes to the bolster, then well and good, but don't drop down towards it. Keep lengthening the side. And still, can you feel the same lift in the abdomen? All right, then as you exhale, come down. And we are going to do Supta Virasana. Now this may not be that easy for you're just starting. So for those of you who been with me for a while, yeah, we can do this easily. I'm going to have a break here. Bolster, blanket for the head, and then a break in front of the bolster. And sitting kind of in the middle of the break, not too low because you don't want it to be sticking into your back when you lie down. I think Malak in particular will love this. No. Yeah, just thinking with the running. So, but we do the things that we don't like. That's what we need to do usually. Belt around the thighs. It's not to keep your knees completely together, but just keep your thighs parallel to each other. And then as you go back, yes, starting kind of in the middle of the break, and then bring the knees down if they lift, arms up and over. Now, this might be like a sheer torture. So if you can't go down with the break, then take it away and just go without it. To make it, but when you go back without that break, go down slowly and make sure you're lengthening. Yeah, so I lengthen my abdomen. I go a little bit more, I lengthen. Yeah, go slowly. And if you can't go back, either way, you can give yourself more lift or just do cross-legged if that's impossible. Okay. But if you can manage with that break, it's very interesting because you get real deep action in the pelvis. Yeah, which is important for back bends, but also for forward bends, of course. Breathing. So with that break, it's kind of automatic, that action. You don't really have to do much, just feel the stretch in the hip flexors, in the thighs, and feel that there is a lift just behind the abdominal wall in front of the spine. There's a lift there. And so you got your arms over, you can fold the arms and then also fold in the other way. Make sure you swap the arms. Hold the elbows firmly. So it's not just the forearms or the wrist, but you could hold the elbows so that you keep the extension through the arms. And breathe and try and enjoy it, even though I know it can be challenging. This. So we tend to do a lot of external rotating the hips all the time in yoga. But it's as important to work on the internal rotation. And it took me kind of a while to understand this. Because after I had a groin pain for a long time that I realized that I wasn't strong in this movement, because there are not many poses that do this. All right, and then bring your arms back to your side. And then you can come up. And you're going to go back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. With that same awareness. Yeah, so same action in the pelvis, so that there is a lift there from the lower abdomen. But also I want to start talking to you now about the morning when I have people here in person. Somebody, just have a look, pushing blocks behind each hamstring. And you were pushing into it. And I want you to imagine that you are doing that even though you don't have a partner. And the thing about the hamstrings is that they need to spread. They like to be spread from the center out, not just pull that like strings. Yes, they are called hamstrings, but I want you to imagine that rather than going vertically, pulling them all the time, that you are spreading from the belly of the muscle out. All right, let's do it. Come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Right. Pull up the knees. Feel that the tailbone moving in. So feel that same spaciousness in the abdomen, like you just had. And that, yeah, a little bit lower, Michelle. So Michelle and Bernie, they're together so they can do the blocks. And then imagine that you're pressing to the thighs, so your hamstrings back against something to the belly of the muscle at the back, and think of it spreading to the sides, yeah, horizontally rather than vertically. So you're bringing nutrition to the hamstrings, yeah. So you're pressing the thighs back to the bones, and your thigh bones back to the hamstrings, bringing nutrition, bringing fresh blood to your hamstrings and spreading them as much. It's a completely different feeling, different feeling. Buttocks high though, Michelle. And just see what changes when you look at it like that. All right, and as you exhale, bend your knees, come down. And we're going to lie on the back for a little bit. I hope this makes sense. Have a belt handy. We're just going to do some hip work lying down. So remember first, you bend your knees up and you do that contra movement. So one knee, so you start with the knees together, one leg goes back and forward, and then out to the side to that circle movement. One way and then the other way. And trying to soften around the hips as much as you can. So just using the hands. Yeah, that's the first one. Secondly, you're going to bring your right foot against the left knee first, and then lengthening from the groin towards the knee as the knee goes down, but still trying to keep it on the mat, and then turning away from it. Yeah. Same on the other side. And then third one. You bring the foot against the opposite knee, and then you lift your head up, your knee, and your head up to meet you. Yeah? Couple of times. All right? Go for it. So first, you lift your knee towards the chest, and start with the contra movements. So one goes forward, one goes back, and then circular action to the sides. Yeah, but your hands are holding the knees, Karma, and you're doing the movements with your arms, with your hands more than, so the legs are relaxed, your hips are relaxed as best as they can be. Yeah, so that's why you use the hands. So out to the side, Michelle, with your knees. Like playful babies, moving the hips like this. Yeah. And then do the other side as well. Okay, and then bring your feet back to the floor. And now you're going to take your right foot against the left knee or left lower thigh, and then trying to lengthen from the groin towards the knee as you take it down. Yeah, lengthening the thigh from the groin towards the knee until the knee comes all the way down, and you're turning the trunk away from the right leg. Turning the trunk away from the right leg. But Richard Byrne, just to tell you that I can't see you very well, so I can't comment on what you are doing or not doing, because I can't see you. Yeah, you need it slightly away. Yeah, it's a little better now. Mm-hmm. All right, and then changing side. So left foot against your right knee, and then lengthening from the groin towards the knee as the knee goes all the way down, but trying to keep it on the mat. Yeah, it's easy to go turning to the side, but can you lengthen away from your torso? Your knee stays on the mat as it goes down. Then turning the trunk from left to right. It's not so easy. And then come back to center. And change sides. So again, right foot against your left knee. And this time you're going to then hold or interlock the fingers around your left knee and lift the foot up. And then also lift the head up to meet the foot. All right, and then change sides. Yeah, and lift the knee up, lift the head up to meet the knee. Feel what's happening in the hip. And as you exhale, then you can release. And we can do one more time. Same thing. So right foot against your left knee. Interlock the fingers on the back of the left knee and lift the knee up. And lift the head up to meet the knee. Good. And then release. And then last time the second side. Oh, those, of course, goes without saying that you should feel it in the hips, not in the knee. If you feel anything in the knee, you've got to back off. That's not the right action. All right, and then release. Okay, now have a look. So if you have long enough belt, I'd like you to do this one. Supta Parangasthasana. So you've got just a little loop around your foot. You can press your left foot first against the wall, lifting the right leg up. And I'm holding the belt the other way, it's not like this, like we normally do, but the other way, so that I can feed the belt through and take the arm over. So it's so I want to create this kind of dynamic movement. I'm moving the leg as if I was a puppeteer. Yeah, a few times. Because you get something from the dynamic movement too. It doesn't always have to be slow, and sometimes we use dynamic movement. Then after that, you're going to hold the belt close to the foot, letting the knee go out, foot towards the head. Yeah, and then taking the elbow overhead as much as you can. And then as the knee is already out, you're going to stretch the leg out. You can feed the belt behind the head from right to left. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. I'll show you this when I'm sitting. Maybe you will be able to see it better then. Okay, on one side, then the other side. Let's try. So have the look quite small around the foot. Yeah, and then you lift the leg up, and then you hold it up with the fingers going this way. Not that way as we do normally, but this way. And then as the arms go overhead, the foot goes with it. Yeah, and a few times. Push the other foot though against the wall beam. Yeah, or even if the wall isn't there, just imagine it is. So the left leg stays firm. And just go a few times. And you can give yourself more leverage, more movement. Yeah, let the leg swing. Let it swing, but keep it straight. Keep it straight and let it swing. Try not to bend the knee. And remember how the hamstrings are spreading, not just pulling all the time, right? Arms straight. So Michelle, arms straight when you're holding the belt. Yeah. Can the foot go higher? All right. Be playful with it. And then you go back, and this time, so you can hold the belt closer to the foot. You're going to take your knee out to the side. So you can have a look. I'm doing it sitting, but you're doing the same thing lying down. So you can use your left hand on the foot to lift it up high so that your leg is in the right angle. And you hold the belt closer to the foot, depending on the hip, yeah? So you give yourself more leverage if you need to. But if you don't need to, then you hold it closer. Eventually you hold the big toe. And then lifting the elbow up around the head. And then you're trying to bring the head back down towards the floor. And that really gets into the hip. Calm, but the foot needs to come up higher so your leg is in the right angle. In a right angle. More. So you can hold the foot with your left hand, but lift your foot up higher. And then while the knee is already out in that outward external action, then you just take the leg out to the side. It's already out, it doesn't have to come up, it's already out to the side, just take it out straight now. And you can then feed the belt from right to left. Yeah, and as I'm pulling at the belt with the left hand, the foot can come up higher. So Lisha, with the left hand, you stretch your left arm out, and if you have long enough belt, that is. Yeah, if not, then the hand just can rest on the thigh, but that way. Yeah. Yes. All right. And then you can release, come back to center. And chin side, the fun we have with the belt, isn't it? Okay, so have a tight loop around your left foot now. Lifting the leg up. And then holding the belt up, stretching the arms up towards the ceiling. And then as you take your arms over, the leg will come with you. Make sure that your right foot is extending towards the wall. If you have a wall, if you don't have a wall, imagine that you do. And go with the arms over, taking the leg with you. And just noticing that perhaps you might go a little bit deeper when you do it like this. Maybe you get a little more movement. But Carmen, try and keep your knee straight. Yeah? Your knee is bending, so you've got to try and keep your knee straight. And go, swing, swing. Without thinking, bypass the thinking brain, without thinking about it too much. Just swing it. Just swing it. All right, and then stay up. You're going to bend your left knee out to the side, holding the foot with your left hand, lifting the elbow up, holding your right hand, the outer foot, so that you bring your foot up higher, so your leg is in a right angle more. And then taking the elbow overhead, and can you lie down on your elbow? Yeah, can you bring your head down to your elbow? So you feel it more in that left hip. It's the same arm and the same leg. That, yeah, same elbow, same leg on that side. And then, so you've got that external rotation now in your left hip, feel that, and then all you have to do is just straighten the leg out to the side. For Supta Padangustasana 2, out to the side, and then feet in the belt, from left to right, pulling at the belt with your right hand to take the left foot up even higher. Yeah, so we're going for trying to increase the range of movement. All right, and then as you exhale, you can release, take your belt off. And get your chair. You have the yoga chairs. If you don't have a yoga chair, I don't know how this is going to work. So you might not be able to use the bottom of the chair like this. And if you can't, then I'll give you an alternative. Yeah. Otherwise, your chair is upside down. So kind of with the bucket of the seat up. And then you're going to step your feet up on the bottom of the chair. So your legs, your feet are slanting. I'm a little close to the wall. Leave the wall for this. And then see the way my buttocks are back first, but then can I take them forwards more? And again, feeling this, getting the sensation of spreading from the center out rather than just pulling up. It's about spreading the hamstrings. And then from there, with the spreading action, can I come lower down to biceps? Of course, it's challenging because now you're also involving your calves. Yeah. So here, then after this, after a while, you're going to step, you're trying to stay low down, so you don't lose that action that you've already gained. And then you're going to step your feet down and come into Uttanasana with your feet down. Because this is now going to feel better. And then into Ardha Mukha Svanasana with the hands slanting on the chair, stepping the feet down. Okay? Let's try that. If you don't have a chair that you can use like this, you could also. Is there anybody? How are you doing? Let me see you. Right, so if you don't have a yoga chair or something slanting, you could use some bricks or something, or even books. Yeah, so I think maybe Patricia, if you have some bricks like this, the rest of you go into it. Chair, so that you are not but kind of limit. If you don't have some blocks or something, and then you can come forward slowly to a chair, you might start on the top and going down lower like that. Yeah. So it takes some time, and I want you to really visualize that spreading. So you're not just pulling on the hamstrings like on strings. Yes, they are called strings, but they like to be spread and nourished that way. They don't like to be pulled at the whole time, because then they might become weak at the insertion points, which happens very often. Yeah, so that the thighs have to push back to the bones, to the thigh bones back to your hamstrings, and then they spread from center to side. It changes everything if you can visualize this. And then bit by bit going down lower, taking the buttocks forward a bit, trying to soften the ankles. Don't let the ankles, they sometimes might keep fighting back. Try and soften the fronts of the ankles. And then go down in your own capacity, a bit lower and lower and lower. So you're lengthening the whole backs of the legs, not just the hamstrings, but also the calves, the Achilles tendons. Very good for Malaki, for whoever's doing lots of running. Because it's not something that you do, you keep contracting the backs of the legs the whole time if you do a lot of running or cycling, anything like that. And just breathe through it. I know it's challenging. It's challenging for the mind, but just keep breathing. Yeah. Straight legs. Once you bend your knees, you've taken the hamstrings out of it. Yeah, you've got to keep them straight. Good. And from there, you're going to keep the head down as you step your feet back to the floor. Because now this is going to be interesting. Something has changed there. Yeah, so it's going to be easier now for the upper body to go down with the feet down. See if that's true or not. Don't take my word for it. You try. Take your head down, but keep the spread in the backs of the hamstrings. Don't come into dog yet, but just, spread in the backs of the thighs from the center out, and take your head down. Okay, and then from there, bring your hands to the slanted chair and step your feet back and coming into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Moving the shoulder blades deep in against the back ribs. Now, Malaki, can you see yourself on the screen? No? You don't have it set? Your back is rounding, yeah? You've got to lift the buttocks high. All right, from there you can bring your hands back to your feet. Come back into Uttanasana. And then come back to standing. Okay, well, if you need to work on that, that's so difficult. Yeah. You've got to work on the things that are challenging. Yeah. Now, have 2 breaks on each side, and we are going to go through some standing poses. In a way, we do this sometimes. Yeah, you've done this. Most of you have done this before. It's a nice way for the hips to do the sequence. It's a lubricating for the hips and strengthening. Let me remind you, let me show you. So you're going to come forward with your feet wide, And first, we are going to lengthen forward through the arms, coming into Prasarita Paradhanasana. And again, spreading the hamstrings. Yeah, and then coming down as low as you can. You might not be able to take your head down, but just going as far as you can. Then hands forward and turn your feet to your right side first. And it's important before you go into Trikonasana, I'm going to bend your right knee into a right angle. Because then this way you get nicely into the hip. And walking the hands around, use your brick. And then, yeah, so with the knee bend first, and then as I'm straightening the leg, coming into Trikonasana. And then to come back, you bend the knee, come back to center, head down, arms forward, turning the feet to the other side and bending to the right angle. And then Trikonasana on the other side. Yeah, then back to center. We're going to do different arm actions in Prasarita Paradhanasana for those who can. So second arm, forearms together, hands are facing back. Then to the first side again, bend the knee, and Virabhadrasana 2. And a couple of ups and downs. Yeah, and then again, so it's important that you always go to the foot and then with the knee bend, coming back to center. Yeah, so I'll talk you through it and we'll do a few standing poses from Prasarita Paradhanasana. Okay? So have the bricks ready on the side. Start with the feet wide. Heels out, toes in slightly. And lift the navel, lift the chest up, roll the shoulders back. And again, imagine as you go forward, the hamstrings are spreading from center to side. Taking the hands down first, with the back straight. And first, let's lengthen forward first, getting the spine long. Strong legs, buttocks high. And then from there, you can bring your hands back, taking the head all the way down if you can. So this is kind of your resting pose that you come back to from each standing pose. And then straighten the arms, put your hands forward, and turn your feet to your right. So left toes a little bit, right toes out, and the heel in. Bend your right knee, and walk your hands around to the right side, taking your right hand to your brick, and then straightening the right leg as you turn the abdomen, as you turn the chest up, stretch the palm, take the palm up. Breathe in, soft, smooth breaths through the nose. And as you exhale, bend your knee into a right angle. Take your hands down to the side of the foot, and then again come forward. Take your head down, elbows in a right angle, take a few breaths there. And then as you inhale, lift the head up, take your hands forward, turn your feet to your left, right toes in, left toes out, and the heel in. Bend your left knee to a right angle, walk your hands towards the left foot. Have the brick ready. Press your left hand down on the brick, and then slowly begin to, as you straighten the left leg, you turn the abdomen at the same time. Abdomen, chest turning, top, shoulder back. And then stretching the arm up when you're ready. Breathing, soft, smooth breaths through the nose. As you exhale, bend your left knee. And then coming back to center. Head down. This time, have the palms facing back. Elbows together, hands together. And then inhale, bring your hands forward again. Look up with the chest and your feet to your right side. Bend your right knee into a right angle. Walk your hands to your right foot. Keeping the right leg bent as you lift the upper body upright. Virabhadrasana 2, warrior number 2. And as you exhale, you just straighten the leg. As you inhale, come back down. And a few times, 5 times. All right, then bring your hands back to your foot and walk back to center. And take your head down, fingers pointing back, forearms together. If you can, few breaths there. This is where you rest. And then inhale, take your hands forward again, turn your feet to your left, right toes in, left toes out, and the heel in. Bending your left knee into a right angle, walk your hands around. And then come upright, but keep your knee in a right angle. Extend the arms in the center, look over to your left. And as you breathe out, come up. As you breathe in, bend the knee. 5 times. 4. And 5. Take your hands in front of the foot, come back to center. This time with the palms facing up and taking the arms back straight if you can go that far. And otherwise, yeah, using bricks for your hands or whatever you need. All right, and from there, as you breathe in, take your hands forward, turn your feet to your right, left toes in, right toes out, and the heel in. Bend your right knee again, walk your hands towards the right foot, have the break, this time on the inside of the foot. Yeah, I have it lying down, you might have it standing up, so you turn the chest up, push the knee back with the elbow and turn the abdomen, turn the chest up, top shoulder back. Uddita Parsha Konasana, stretching your left arm up and overhead if you can. Breathing. As you exhale, then bring your hands back down in front of the foot and walk them back to center. Take your head down, arms back, palms up. Breathe. And then take your hands forward again. Look up with the chest, turn your feet to your left. Right toes in, left toes out, and the heel in, bend your left knee. And walk your hands towards your left foot. Have the break on the inside of the foot, whichever way you need it. Knee is moving back. Turn the abdomen up, turn the chest up, top shoulder back. Yeah, front leg is in a right angle. Stretch your right arm up, rotate the upper arm and bring it overhead. Feeling the stretch from the back heel all the way through the tips of the fingers. And as you exhale, then you can come back down, back to center, and down all the way. This time, if you can interlock the fingers behind, and take your arms overhead. Rest there for a few more moments. And then you can bring your arms back down. And we're going to come up. My plan is again long and exciting. I don't have enough time for everything. It's the ongoing theme for me. Have a look. We're going to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana now. With the feet against, heels against the wall. And remembering how the hamstrings spread from center to side. And then taking your feet together. And now taking one leg up the wall. And walking the foot as high as you can, but keeping the hips low. Yeah, so it's not this. I'm not taking the right hip out, the hips stay out. And then can I walk the hands a little closer to the wall. And a little closer to the wall. Yeah, so it's kind of like a standing split. Okay. Show me what you can do. So the wall is good to have there. Now if you can move yourself to the wall. And as you lift your right foot as high as you can, the toes are pointing down. The hip is in line with the other hip. And again, you think of spreading the hamstrings out to the side, especially, well, both of them, especially the lower one, your left one. All right, and then take your leg back down. Take your feet apart slightly. And just rest a little bit in the dog pose before we do the other side. You're a bit too wide, Patricia. You need to bring your feet closer to your hands or the other way around. Hands closer to your feet, buttocks higher. Okay, and then feet together. So again, spread the backs of the thighs, spread the hamstrings. And then bending your left knee and lift your leg up high. Don't point the toe like this. It's the heel. The heel has to go up. Yeah, toes are under and heel is extending and the thigh is going up. Thigh is going up. Don't bend the knee. And then can you walk your hands a little closer to the wall? Can you walk your hands a little closer to the wall? And see how high can you bring that heel? How high can you bring the heel? All right, and then as you exhale, you can come back down. Take a little rest. I know this is not easy. And we're going to do a few things now sitting down. Get yourself a belt. And let's just first sit in Dandasana. Yeah. First, so if you've got the blanket, we're going to sit on a roll first. If you open it, just make a tight roll. And so you're gonna sit on it, but remember, you've done this before, that you sit on it with the tops of the hamstrings. So that's the weakest point where the dip is. If you run your fingers there, at the back of the thigh, there's a kind of a dip there, below the sit bone, and that's what you want to sit on the roll. So it's not the buttocks, it's not the buttock bones, but it's that the top of the thigh that sits down on that roll. And then you're going to press that down and lift the buttocks high. Press down here, but lift the buttocks high. So it's not this. I'm exaggerating, you don't look as bad as this, but you want to press down and lift the buttocks. All right, and from there, yeah, so let's all do it together. Yeah, so pull up the knees, you can have your feet together, pull up the knees, press the tops of the thighs down, lift the buttocks high, and then stretch the arms forward and draw the fingers, palms away, inhale, stretch the arms up, and lengthen without dropping the buttocks. The buttocks should not be touching the floor, but press down on the tops of the hamstrings, on the blanket, and lift. Feel the lift from the lower abdomen. Yeah, interlocking the fingers, stretching the arms up. And feel that lift that is there from the bottom of the pelvic floor. Arms up, Tori, go on, arms up. As you exhale with ease. And just take a little rest. Press the hands on the sides. Yeah, and then we'll do the other side. So one more time. Straighten the legs, feet together. Yeah, we can move the flesh of the buttocks back with your hands if you need to. Press the top hamstrings down on your roll. Roll the shoulders back. And then once more, stretch the arms forward, interlocking the other way. Palms away. And as you inhale, stretch the arms up. As you lift the arms up, press the top hamstrings down and lift from there. Top hamstrings down and lift from there. Buttocks lifting, buttocks flesh lifting up, not down. All right, then as you exhale, you can take your arms back down. And we're going to do a couple of seated forward bends. Yeah, you can now just have the blanket in a square. Yeah, sitting on a square blanket, have the belt handy as well. And if you have your bolster, then also have the bolster. Right? So first bending your left knee up, let the knee go out to the side, foot towards the groin. And notice, so Janu Shirshasana will be coming forward, but before we do, to see how the weight is, notice that it wants to come to your left sit bone. So you've got to keep it more towards the right one, towards the straight-legged one. Yeah. And from there, stretch the arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, come forward, holding the side of the foot. And remember how the back of the leg, hamstrings are spreading. Yeah, you're not just pulling at them. Have that bolster, and you can use that same action of pulling the forearm from the fingers towards the elbow to get the lift in the abdomen first. And then slowly coming forward more, and then the head down. Maybe, but coming forward from the hips. It should be calming and cooling, quieting, slowing everything down. As you inhale, come back to center. Straight both legs forward. And then the other side. So first moving the flesh of the buttocks back away from the sit bones. And remember how you were pressing down on that rolled blanket and spreading the flesh of the backs of the legs. Then bend your right knee up, let the knee go out to the side, the foot towards the groin, have the bolster ready. Inhale, stretch the arms up, lengthen the sides of the body, and as you exhale, lengthen forward from the hips, take your forearms on the bolster, and first, can you get that lift? Yeah, so as I'm pulling from the fingers towards the elbow, then I'm getting the lift in the abdomen. And from there, slowly coming closer towards the foot. Head down if you can, breathe. If you use a belt, if you need to around the foot, you can't reach, use a belt, of course. All right, then as you inhale, come back to center, stretch both legs forward. And this time, Triamukha Pada Paschimottanasana. Bending your left knee up. You're going to take your left foot into half virasana, so all the toes are pointing back. And if your hips might look like this. And if that's the case, you need some more height underneath your right buttock. Yeah, so this time the weight is more towards the straight-legged buttock. So you've got to bring it back to center so that when you go forward, the spine will be straight rather than going in an angle. Have the bolster ready. Yeah, so if you need more height under your right buttock, then please have it. Then as you inhale, stretch both arms up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, come forward from the hips. Hold in the foot or the belt if you can't. And you can again do that action of the forearms if you can get that low of the bolster, pulling from the fingers back to the elbows to get the length through the abdomen, and then from there coming forward bit by bit. Relax the shoulders down, Michelle, not the shoulders, yes. Come forward from the hips. Relax the chin back, it's not the chin that's coming forward, it should be from the hips. That's it, that's better. And then see how far you can go from the hips. All right. And then as you inhale, coming back to center. And stretch both legs forward. Move the flesh of the buttocks back away from the buttock bones. Bending your right knee up. Take your right foot back into half virasana. Yeah, and then trying to keep the hips leveled, so bringing more weight to your bent leg. Have the bolster ready. First one, as you inhale, stretch your arms up to the ceiling, lengthening the sides of the body, and as you exhale, come forward from the hips, holding the side of the foot or the belt. And then if you can, forearms on the bolster to lengthen from the lower abdomen, like we did at the start. And then going deeper into the forward bend in your own time, in your own capacity, with that action of the spreading, nourishing the hamstrings at the back of the left leg. Lovingly, not just pulling at them aggressively, because that never works. And then as you inhale, coming back to center, and stretch the legs forward. And this time, bending your left knee up like this into Marichiyasana. And in Marichiyasana, it's a twist first, and then it is a forward bend. Let me show you first. Have a belt handy in case you need it. So as I'm interlocking the fingers around the knee, I'm gonna lift navel, chest up, then stretching the left arm up, then kind of with a fast movement coming forward, and I'm gonna wrap my arm around the bent leg and the other around the back body, lifting and then turning away from the bent leg. So I'm pushing the upper arm here against the leg to help me turn. And then staying down low. The second stage is that you come forward. It's an interesting pose because you don't quite know, well, I know, but you might not know why you're doing this. So let's just see where you feel it. Yeah? So bend your left knee up. Interlock the fingers around your left knee. And as you pull at it, lift from the lower belly, navel, chest lifting, shoulders back. And then as you inhale, stretch your left arm up, so you lengthen from the hip all the way up to your hand. And then with that length, you want to come forward over that bent leg. And then turning the palm the other way, as you wrap your arm around that bent leg. And then stretching the other arm back, wrap your right arm around the body, and you want to catch hold of the right hand with the left. If you can't reach, then use the belt behind you. Pressing your upper left arm against the leg as you turn to your right side. Turning to the right side. Turning, but don't let the knee come out either. Yes, so the upper arm is pushing against the leg, but also the leg has to push back. And then staying low if you can, so you can come forward more. Yeah, so now it's a forward bend. You're trying to bring your head forward, looking at the big toe, staying down low. And just notice where you're feeling it. When I ask this question, I usually get many different answers. Where this should be felt really is in that left hip. Because you're creating compactness there. And it helps you with forward bends. It helps you to do forward bends better. Inhale, come back to center. Right, stretch the legs forward. Then the other side, so bending your right knee up. Take your heel out slightly, interlock the fingers around your right leg, lift the navel, lift the chest up beyond the center of the left heel. And then as you inhale, stretch your right arm up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, come forward. So big stretch forward and low and forward. Then turn your palm out to the side, wrapping your right arm around the leg, stretching your left arm sideways, palm back, and left arm around the back body. holding your left hand with your right hand, or if you can't, then you put the belt. And then as you press your upper right arm against the leg, also the leg against the arm, begin to turn to your left side. Turning the trunk to your left side. And from there, staying low as you try and come forward as much as you can. Coming forward, it's not so easy. It's okay. And you feel this. Are you feeling this in your right hip? All right. And as you inhale, coming back to center. Stretch both legs forward. And now, so this pose, in my understanding of it, will make your full Paschimottanasana easier. So let's just see if it worked or not. Yeah, you can do it with your feet slightly apart. I don't mind, have a bolster for your forearms. Yeah, it can be up high if you're stiffer. You can start somewhere here, or you can go down more. Right? So feet slightly apart. You're in the centers of the heels. Move the flesh of the buttocks from the center of each buttock back. Pull up the knees. Backs of the hamstrings are spreading. Not pulling at them, but spreading. Then as you inhale, stretch the arms up. Lengthening the sides of the body up. And then as you breathe out, come forward from the hips. Holding the sides of your feet. If you can't reach, you put the belt around your feet. And then pressing the forearms, the elbows on the bolster, getting the lift in the abdomen first. Yeah, so if the bolster is too far away, bring it up more. And then slowly go deeper into it. You can bring your head down to the bolster, you can bring your head down to the bolster. But keep the knees straight, pull up the knees, and keep spreading the backs of the hamstrings, because that's what helps you do the pose better. Arms straight, Michelle. Arms straight. Pull at the belt, shoulders back, lift the chest. So that the action is in the legs, not just, again, the intention. Of course, the intention is to come forward, but the intention has to be backed up by the action. So it's not just the chin lift, coming forward and shoulders lifting. It has to come from the hips. Yeah. All right. And then as you inhale, come back to center. I had another fun pose to do, but we just have to do it some other time. For now, I want you to rest with the legs of the wall. So you've got a bolster. You've got a grip behind between the wall and the bolster. Or some equivalent, so the grip is like this. And then if you have some blanket on top of the bolster, so you do something a little upside down now, so that you have done all the hard work and the hamstrings. You're gonna sit sideways with the hip to the wall. Have a belt around your thighs. Don't have it too tight though, so you want the legs to be, you want the belt to be so that your knees are hip width apart. And start with your hip all the way to the wall. And then as the legs go up, then the upper body goes down. And as you go down, you might come away from the wall, but then see if you can move yourself closer so that your buttocks are kind of slightly behind the bolster. And there's a spreading action around the abdomen. Diaphragm is relaxed. Arms can be on the sides or in a right angle. And so you can relax here for a few minutes, and if it becomes not so relaxing after a while, if you want to lie down flat, then in your own time, please do. I leave it up to you. Okay. If you don't have a ball to support the legs, then maybe just bend your knees and rest the feet on the sofa. Yeah, Patricia. Because otherwise that's not going to be very relaxing. All right, so feet are hip width apart. Liam, take your feet apart. And are you at the wall? Can't see the wall. The wall is blurry. So make sure that you are comfortable wherever you are. Yeah. And the closer the buttocks can be to the wall, the more relaxed the diaphragm can be. And if the diaphragm is relaxed with the vagus nerve, and then you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system and you are in a resting mode. And that's what you want. And just start to let go. Relaxing the face and all the facial muscles. Widen the space between the eyebrows. Soften the eyelids. Let the eyes move down away from the eyelids, as if you had eyes at the back of the head, looking out through the darkness of the skull. Relax the jaws, the tongue, the throat. Feel the contact you have between the back body and the floor, and the backs of the legs and the wall. From head to feet and feet to head, feeling all the touch points between the back body and the wall and the floor. The whole plane of the body on the floor all at once. As you exhale, softening the abdomen, let it fall down towards the back. As you exhale, soften the shoulders, the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, the hands, and all the fingers. As you exhale, soften the groins, the hips, the thighs, the kneecaps, the shins, the ankles, all of the feet, all the toes, until you completely let go. And because you are in this position of the legs up, you can't quite completely let go, but just, let go as much as you can. And if at some stage you want to just lie down flat, that's up to you. Just allow yourself to receive the stillness and the awareness that is already there, always there. Every nerve of the body, just let yourself receive it. And with this, I'm going to leave you. I hope you have a good night's sleep tonight. We should, because after 4 bends, we are more relaxed. So, see. Let me know if you have any interesting observations. Good night.